Hi everybody, welcome back to NorCal Slot Car Scene. A couple of months ago, I did a review and a overview of the McLaren F1 GTR by MRSLOTCAR and the Slim Can project that I'd planned to build. I've finally gotten the car built and on the racetrack, and I'm going to go over what I did to make this conversion complete and make this into a really fast race car.
Let's take a look at a weight comparison of the two cars. The first car we're going to test is the Scale Auto Acura NSX. It's built to Northern California rules, so it has a long can motor in it. This car has the hard chassis, and let's take a look and see. We're looking at about 85 grams ready to run weight. When we look at the MRSLOTCAR, it's not a contemporary GT car. It's a McLaren from the 90s, but in terms of weight, the body, and that type of thing, it's very, very similar, so that's what we're going to compare it with. You can see the slim can motor in it. When we put it on the scale, we're looking at 71.5 grams. Huge difference. This gives us a great opportunity of tuning with ballast to get the center of gravity lower, get the weight where we need it, and to make a faster car.
I set up the pod so it's got a pretty good amount of float or rock to it. And that's dampened on each side by silicone washers. So that controls the movement just a little bit. On the bottom, I've used strapping tape to just slightly tighten up the pod so it's not quite as free.
The slim can motor has a 1.5 millimeter diameter motor shaft. And for this application, we're going to use MRSLOTCAR gears. It is a 5.5 millimeter pinion and a 15.5 diameter spur gear. So this gives you the proper mesh. You could also go with a 16.5 millimeter spur gear, made it up with a 4.5 millimeter pinion gear. So both of those options are available from MRSLOTCAR. So I'm going to take off the left side tires so you can see the gear ratio on here.
The pinion is an 8-tooth and the spur gear is a 32-tooth.
The front tires have been glued and trued. They're turned down to racing diameter, and I've also applied my nail polish trick on. They're very slippery and develop very little grip. In the back, I have tires that are from one of my other GT cars. So this is a standard compound that I would use to test at High Sierra Raceway. So I've got a known commodity on there. These are slotted G25 rear tires on 16 millimeter slotted air wheels, and that seems to work best at Ted's track, High Sierra Speedway.
With the 18.9 millimeter diameter rear tires, I have a ride height a little bit more than I'd like. If I was actually going to race this car, I'd probably cut them down to about 18.5.
So that's an overview of the slim can motor conversion project with the MRSLOTCAR McLaren F1 GTR. How did it perform? We had a race last weekend at Ted Essie's High Sierra Speedway. There was no time to do any testing because we had a full house of 15 racers. At that race, we ran GT3, which is a similar type of class, and the winner's fastest lap was 5.09. When I got the car on the track, it immediately was running in the 5.2 range, and I finally got it down to 5.12 with no tuning. Going forward, I would definitely like to add a little bit more ballast and probably up the gear ratio. So it's right in there with the fastest GT cars in Northern California. I would highly recommend doing this conversion on the MRSLOTCAR McLaren for the GT class, or possibly an MRSLOTCAR Shadow for the Can-Am class. It's extremely fast, very easy to drive, and I think you'll amaze the other people in your group with how fast this slim can motor car can be. Thanks for watching. This is Jim Rose with NorCal Slot Car Scene.